Hello, I am Marina Orms, the founder of Astrology Heals at astrologyheals.com. And today I want to talk about the Age of Aquarius. Last week, I shared with you a very informative presentation and intention setting event, our personal and planetary intention setting for 2021. And many of you joined me there. So if you missed it, definitely go check out the recording to that. Very, very informative in terms of understanding the astrological context of where we are in history, of what's happening as we make this shift from 2020 into 2021, what it will mean for us, and how we can best be prepared to optimize the energies that we have and work with them to create the future we want, which is what we are all about at Astrology Heals. We are all about healing, consciousness, and personal growth, and learning more about who we can be and who we are, and how to, as always, become more empowered in our personal ways of being in the world and on the planet. So today I wanted to cover a topic that that I touched on a little bit during that personal and planetary intention setting, which, by the way, is available. The recording and the transcript is available on my blog at astrologyheals.com/blog, or just go to astrologyheals.com and click on the blog button. Super easy. And you will see it there, how to prepare for, or how to get 2021 right. Part 1 and part 2 are right there on the blog. All right. So what I wanted to cover today is the little bit more to context for you about what is the Age of Aquarius. That topic, that theme has come up, and it's come up as a question more lately when we had the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, and a lot of people were confused. There's, as always, some misinformation out there when it comes to astrology. So what is the Age of Aquarius? And is the Jupiter-Saturn great conjunction, is that it, or what, right? So that's what I want to talk about today. And just in a nutshell, the Jupiter and Saturn great conjunction is and was very significant as a shift in cycles, as an Aquarian theme. And 2021, by the way, as a year, has a lot of strong Aquarian energy. You can, in that presentation that I gave last week on 2021, there's a lot more content about that and the meaning of the Great Conjunction. But the Age of Aquarius is actually something different. The Age of Aquarius is the description that astrologers give to what's called the precession of the equinoxes. And so I can get a little bit technical for those of you who are a little geeky and interested in how it works. But before I do that, let me just share the big picture overall. And that is, it's a 2,000-year cycle span of time in which basically our solstices and equinoxes and what we see in the sky are lined up. So the constellation of Aries, for example, we see the constellations in the sky, and at one time the constellations were aligned. In other words, when you looked in the sky, when the sun was in Aries, you would see the constellation of Aries in that part of the sky. But because we are in a solar system that is part of a bigger 3D universe, all those things are constantly moving. And so in the longer, bigger picture period of time, our solar system is moving with a respect to the rest of the universe and the sky. So when, as time moves over time like that, the constellation that we're seeing when the sun is in Aries for us, meaning it's springtime and it's the spring equinox and the beginning of the zodiac. Actually, what we're seeing in the sky behind the sun at that time is a different constellation, and that's because of that changing and shifting over time. So that's the beginning of the age of Aquarius is something that's not really, we don't really know for sure. People have, disagreement, or there's just not a lot of clarity about exactly like what is the moment when that age begins. But what we do know is that the age of Pisces, which is the 2000 year cycle that we are leaving, began around the year 0, or between the BC and the AD, around the time of Jesus' birth. So there were some big paradigm shifts happening around that time, right? And just like in our times, it didn't happen overnight. It took a while for word to spread. It took a while for people to sort of make cultural shifts based on what was happening at the time. And that's the same for us. So that began a 2000 year cycle that was and is known as the Age of Pisces. We're entering into a new 2000 year cycle that is the Age of Aquarius. And the Age of Pisces was and is defined by what is the word of God, more or less. I mean, there are different ways of saying that, but it's like the divine has sort of the ultimate authority over our experience, over our lives. And remember, this is going to be a big picture background theme. And so it was a 2000 year era. And of course, it was not the same every year or every century or every day. But in general, we had a theme of people looking to a centralized authority figure. And that centralized authority figure in some way is and was seen to be conveying or holding this divine word. So whether monarchy and royalty is infused with sort of divine powers, or whether we're just dealing with vestiges of that notion, we have this unconscious sort of understanding of how the world works that we need to look to a divine or really look to a centralized authority figure to tell us how things work, and so that we know where we belong and what we need to do and who we need to listen to. And as we shift into the Age of Aquarius, again, this is a big picture theme. It's not going to be the same all the time, but in the background, the theme that's shifting is that centralized authority is shifting from something outside of us that we look to, kind of expecting to be told how to do things, and it's shifting to an internal experience of authority. So your own soul's truth, your own soul's wisdom, your inner wisdom, you as the holder of the answers. And so you can see how what's shifting culturally and in our awareness is that we're starting to wake up to this idea that what we know and how we trust ourselves, it's that sense of inner self-trust and trusting our inner wisdom, that is ultimately where we need to be and what's changing. So over the long term, we are shifting to a way of being that has more to do with trusting ourselves, listening to our inner wisdom, acting from our own authority, from our own autonomy, from our own authenticity, and sharing and contributing in a more equalitarian way. So, so seeing each person as more equal and less like one is the holder of truth and the rest of us just have to bow down to that. So in a general sense, That's what the Age of Aquarius is more about. Of course, it's an air sign, so it's also more about communication, technology, higher level thinking, thinking outside the box, and sort of problem solving and thinking more sustainably at those higher levels. So just really quick, for those of you who are interested in the more geeky side of things, that this shift has to do with how our solstices and equinoxes line up. So we, in the tropical Western astrology system, there are different ways of looking at it, but in a Western tropical astrology system, we see the equinox as we experience it here on Earth. It's a very tangible thing of equal day and night, equal darkness and light. That's the equinox, and that is the beginning of Aries. The spring equinox is the beginning of Aries, and that's how we define that. And then the summer solstice is the beginning of Cancer. The winter solstice is the beginning of Capricorn, and the fall equinox is the beginning of Libra. So we have the beginnings of cardinal signs at the solstices and equinoxes. So there you go. There's a nutshell. And if you're interested in learning about this stuff, I highly recommend my program, Lunar Expedition. We are running a special right now. It's only $39 a month to join. You get support for your own process, because I don't separate the astrological knowledge from the practice of it. We do them both together. So everything is all about, how do you use this? What do you do with it? How can you bring this into your own life? Tons of practical exercises and suggestions and options and thought questions that are offered for you, prompt questions that prompt your thinking and your own personal healing practices and personal growth practices that you have. So it's called Lunar Expedition. And the special offer is at manifestingwithmooncycles.com/4 keys, 4 keys, number 4, and then KEYS-special. And I will put that link in the comments as well. So manifestingwithmooncycles.com/4 keys-special. And that's where you can read all about my program. And there's also a bonus right now, if you sign up right now, that you can join our January 21st, I believe it is, special tutoring and study group that's going to be focused on learning astrology. So if that's something that interests you, you can join that group as a bonus for joining us at Lunar Expedition. And with Lunar Expedition, of course, you get ongoing support using the astrology for your own path of living your authentic truth and living your soul's purpose, and working with moon cycles to set your intentions and manifest your intentions as we go throughout the year. So check it out. I hope to see you there. It's Lunar Expedition, manifestingwithmooncycles.com/4 keys-special. Thanks for watching, and I'll be with you again next week. Bye for now.